Hey there, Heather, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to the quarterfinals video of Stone Cold Hockey, the best on best. We have the 68 Habs taking on the 94 Leafs. Leafs are kind of favored. The 71 Habs against the 75 Sabres, which I think Montreal's favored. The 22 Avalanche and the 22 Lightning playing each other in a Stanley Cup rematch, which I think Colorado will take care of. And 94 Rangers against 06 Carolina, which Rangers should be able to take care of. So anyway, let's look at the 8 teams that were involved. The 68 Habs. Their point leader is Sean Beliveau with 7. Their goals leader is Jules Tremblay with 5, who I don't know who the heck this guy is. Got Boris Lee's 3-1 and Rogie Vachon's 2-1. The Habs swept their 84 brethren in the first round, but had a tough time with the 91 Hawks. They were down 2-1 to the Hawks, but somehow won games 4 and 5 to go to the Elite 8. So the rest of the series are best of 7s, if you must know. The 94 Leafs are opponents. Dave Vanderchuk has 12 points in 2 playoff series, 6 goals, so he's been crushing it. Potan's been the only goalie in net, 5-0, as they swept both the 84 Oilers and the 71 Hawks. So, yeah, we sweep Gretzky and Bobby Hall, and the 68 Habs don't really have a goal scorer, so they've been shutting those two teams out. Now the question on everyone's lips will be, can they continue their hotness? Anyway, the 71 Habs. Rookie Vachon 4-0. Phil Myers been nothing but trouble. 0-2. Dryden has played 1 game. The 71 Habs swept the 2012 Rangers and then had a tough time with the 06 Red Wings. That the Red Wings could have caused a massive upset, but 71 Habs won that famous Game 5. They take on Buffalo 75 Sabres, who have Gary Bromley being 4-0 and Roger Crozier 1-0. Meaning they swept their 2 opponents. Chicago, a 14 seed, and the 65 Hawks were the Stanley Cup runner-ups in 65, and the 94 runner-up, Vancouver. So now they got to face a team in the top 10 now. They're 5-0, but we'll see what happens. Their point leader is Rick Martin with 7. Rene Robert both have 7. Rick Martin has 5 goals for Buffalo. Did I talk about the 71 half? Oh, I didn't say who the goal scorer was. Yvan Cornway leads in both goals and points. Well, points he has 9. He has 6 goals in the playoffs. In 2022 Avalanche, Darcy Kemper has been the only goalie in net, 5-1. Abe Landeskog, former Kitchener Ranger, 8 points he leads. McKinnon has 5 goals though. They actually had a tough time with the 71 Bruins having to go to that third and deciding game to take care of Boston, and then they swept the 68 Kings, so they're hoping for better luck. They take on the 2022 Tampa Bay Lightning, who met them in the Stanley Cup in real life. Vasilevsky's 5-2. Maxime Lagacé came in and was 0-1. Stamkos and Hedman both have 12 points for Tampa, and Stamkos has 5 goals. Actually, Tampa has had to go through winner-take-all games twice. Once against their Florida brethren, the Panthers, and the 23 Panthers, and up to nothing, they lost 2 games on Long Island against the 17-ranked 84 Islanders for having to win Game 5 on home turf. Now they got to face Colorado, and hopefully they don't go to Game 7. The 94 Rangers, Mike Richter 3-1, Healy 2-0. Graves has 6 goals and 7 points, so Graves is basically the goal scorer. They had to go through a Game 3 tiebreak against the 2023 Bruins, who of course had that 65 regular season win total, and then they swept the 65 Leafs into fine powder. Now they got to face a tougher opponent, and that's Carolina. 06 Carolina, Gerber's been the only goalie. Eric Staal leads in points and goals with 7. Eric Staal. They had to go through the final game playoff against the 06 Oilers, winner take all, and then they took care of the 2022 Oilers. So now they got to face the Rangers. No Edmonton teams left. So anyway, best of 7 in all 4 series. That's autoplay. Game 1. 68 Habs had to go to overtime as Vachon beat Potvin. Leafs were up 3-1. Gilmore, Krushelnyski, and Gilmore scoring. Habs had Jacques Lemaire. And then Montreal scored 3 straight goals. Bobby Russell, Dick Duff, and John Beliveau before Borshevsky tied with under 3 minutes left. But Ralph Backstrom at 10:15 from Trombe and Beliveau scored. They get 5-4 Habs and win this game. The 2022 Lightning that's when Vasilevsky beat Frank Coors. They decided to go with a new goalie. Tampa goals in the regulation by Stamkos, McDonough, and Corey Perry. Colorado's was Comfort, Landeskog, Kitchener, and McKinnon. But in overtime at 122, Palat on a pass from Colton and Hedman scored. And Palat, that's his second overtime goal of the playoffs. He sunk the 2023 Panthers with an overtime goal of his own. 06 Carolina with 4-3 win as Gerber beat Richter. Carolina goals by Kevin Adams, Eric Stahl, Justin Williams, and Eric Stahl. So Stahl has 9 now. Bukaboo, Karpatsev, and Messier scored for the Rangers. And game 1, the 75 Sabres won 4-3, big win. Crozier beat Vachon. Buffalo goals by Jocelyn Gouvernement, Peter McNabb, Gilles Perreault, and Peter McNabb again. Basically deceased. Jacques Lemaire, Yvan Cournoyer, and Marc Tardif scored for the Habs. Game 2. And Tampa won again in overtime as Brian Elliott took care of Darcy Kemper. Tampa was up 3-0. Goals by Kucherov, Bellemare, and Rota. But Colorado in the second period, Nikushin, Comfort, and Barakowski scored. No goals in the third period, but at 1 minute, Russ Colton from Killorn and point. So Colton, who's assisted on the game 1 overtime goal, scores himself. And Tampa's up 2-0. Rangers win 3-2, so Richter beats Gerber, so that means that series is split. First 2 games are split. Carolina had a 2-0 lead. Brindamore and Eric Stahl. Man, Eric Stahl, 10 goals. By Graves, Leach, and Subov scored for the Rangers, and the Rangers win this one. The 31 Habs win in overtime, splitting the series first against with Buffalo as Vachon beat Bromley, who finally lost. Buffalo goals by Don Luce, Kitchener, and Lee Vogelin, Sr., Peter Mahovlich and Jacques Lemaire in regulation, but in overtime, in under a minute, Henri Richard from Cournoyer and Lemaire scored, and the 71 Habs win that one. Game 2 in the other series saw the 68 Habs win 4-2. As Vachon beat Potvin. Montreal goals by Mickey Redmond, Gilles Tremblay, Jacques Lemaire, and Bobby Rousseau. Leafs, Dave Vanderchuk scoring both times for the Leafs, but unfortunately not in a win. So this would be huge. I think we might see Tampa versus the 68 Habs in the semifinals. But we'll see. Anyway, game 3 of the Carolina Rangers series. Carolina won 4-3 as Healy came in net, lost to Cam Ward. Carolina giving them a start. Carolina goals by Eric Cole, Kevin Adams, Justin Williams, and Rod Brindamore. Ranger goals by Adam Graves with 2 and Brian Leach 1. Buffalo crushed Montreal 8-1 as Desjardins took care of Phil Meyer. What is it with Phil Meyer? Jerry Desjardins, the hero, 8-1. They used their third goalie. Montreal scored Cournoyer his 8th, but Rene Robert, Rick Dudley, Don Luce, Kitchener, Rick Martin, Craig Ramsey, Rick Dudley again, Jim Lorentz, Kitchener Ranger, and Don Luce. So 2 goals by Don Luce and 1 by Jim Lorentz. 3 goals by ex-Kitchener Rangers. Game 3 saw Toronto win 3-1 as Potvin beat Worsley. Krushelewski scored in the first period, Russo in the second period, 1-1 tie, but Borshevsky and Ellett were the goal scorers. Game 3 of the other series, Colorado wins in overtime as Kemper beat Vasilevsky. So all 3 games of Colorado-Tampa have gone to overtime. Tampa was actually up 3-0, and goals by Corey Perry, Anthony Cirelli, and Braden Point. But Colorado scored twice. Logan O'Connor and Devin Tays. Tampa made it 4-2. Cirelli is 5th. But early on, Colorado scored Darren Hell and Cole Makar, both with their first goal of the playoffs. And then Makar at 4:53 from O'Connor wins it. That series is 2-1. So we have 4 series at 2-1. Game 4 of the Habs Sabres sees... Oh, I made it best of 5. Okay. So the 71 Habs win 4-2, which means we will have a 5th and deciding game back in Montreal. So Montreal, Meyer beats Bromley. So Montreal forces the issue back home. Buffalo goals by Jim Lorentz, Kitchener, and Rick Dudley. Montreal goals by Jean Beliveau, Marc Tardif, Jean Beliveau again, and then Peter Mahovlich for good measure. The 68 Habs with a 1-0 shutout of the 94 Leafs, so the 1 seed is still in the semifinals. Gump Worsley beat Davy Rose. The first goal was at the 5-minute mark. Cornway from Provo and Duff. People couldn't believe that Cornway would be the only goal scorer, and the 94 Leafs get shut out 1-0. So great job by the 68 Habs to force the issue and go to a 7-game semifinal. Tampa wins in overtime, so they upset the Colorado Avalanche and get a little bit of revenge on their mind. Elliott beats Kemper. I think Elliott was a former Colorado Avalanche. But anyway, Tampa goals in regulation. Steve Stamkos, Yuri Ruta, Alex Killorn, and Braden Point. Colorado goals, JT Comfort, Nathan McKinnon, and Cole Makar, and Nikola Obekubo. But at 4:41, Stamkos, his 8th from Cal Foot, and Victor Hedman. And the Lightning win 5-4. They go on to the next round. So Tampa is the 15th seed. Will be going to the semifinals. Whereas Carolina, the 11th seed, upsets the 94 Rangers. Big upset. They win 4-2 on home ice. As Gerber beats Richter, and the Canes are going to the semifinals. Rangers scored on Brian Noonan and Adam Graves. Graves with his 10th. But Carolina goes by Ray Whitney, Corey Stillman, Ray Whitney, and Eric Stahl, who had 11. I think he reclaimed the goalie, right? Yeah. Only Stahl and Graves have hit double digits in goals. So Carolina, big tournament win. Now, here's the question on everyone's lips. Who will be the 4th team in the semifinal? Now, this will determine it. If Buffalo wins in Montreal, Buffalo, the 75 Sabres will face the 68 Habs, which means that Tampa will face Carolina, the 22 Lightning will face the 06 Canes in the other semifinal. Carolina would have home ice for the best of 7. If the 71 Habs were to win, then that puts the 22 Lightning to face the 68 Habs, and then the 71 Habs will entertain the 06 Canes in the second semifinal. We shall see. Let's play Game 5. And it will be Roger Crozier versus Rogie Vachon. So Buffalo decides to roll the dice and go with Crozier because he's won a game. Rocky Farm my ass. I don't know why they would do that. So Vachon for Montreal, Crozier for Buffalo. Montreal hoping for the win to have two Montreal teams in the semifinals. Here are the starting lineups. Rick Martin, Rene Robert, Gilbert Perreault, Don Luce from Kitchener, Rick Dudley, Danny Gare, Craig Ramsey, Jim Lorentz, Kitchener, Peter McNabb, Jerry Cora, Brian Spencer, Fred Stanfield, Shuslin Guverman, Bill Hay, Lee Vogelin Sr., Larry Mickey, Jim Schofield, Larry Carrier, Gary Bromley, Roger Crozier, Paul McIntosh, and Jerry Meehan. Other side of the coin, the Montreal Canadiens have Yvon Cournoyer, Pete Mahovlich, Jacques Lemaire, Jean Baliveau, Mark Tardif, Frank Mahovlich, John Ferguson, Guy Lapointe, Phil Roberto, Henri Richard, J.C. Tremblay, Claude LaRose, Rajon Houle, Bobby Sheehan, Serge Savard, Leon Rochefort, Terry Harper, Larry Pro, Jacques Leperrier, and Pierre Bouchard. Here we go. 3 minutes in. Buffalo chance. Gare gets hit. Gare with the scare. 4 minutes later. And Montreal will be on the PK. Jacques Leperrier for 2 minutes. Can Buffalo capitalize? Perreault? No. Another chance. Corab. Oh. 3 minutes later. Montreal. 2-2. And point 1-0. 2 minutes later. Buffalo Jessica or Craig Ramsey, his 4th of the playoffs from Donnie Luce, the ex-Kitchener Ranger, and it's 1-1. 3 minutes later. There's a fight. It will be Rene Robert and Mark Tardif. Surprise! Well, bad news for Buffalo because it takes Robert out for 5 minutes, and he's a good scorer. Tardif, they don't have to worry too much. Crozier in the zone off of Cournoyer. And Montreal will go on the PK. Terry Harper for 2 minutes. Little chance to score. They do. With under a minute left, Richard Martin is 7th from Perot, the French Connection line. Well, 2/3 of it. Robert is still in the box for fighting, but Buffalo's now got a 2-1 lead. They're trying to make things interesting in the grand scheme of things. And to face the 68 Habs. So the 75 Sabres up 2-1. Goals by Ramsey and Martin. Cournoyer for Montreal. And got a chance to gentlemen, Jean Beliveau, his 4th from Lemaire. We are tied at 2-2. And a 5-minute major for Danny Gare. That's brutal because Danny Gare is a good player. Montreal can score as many times as they want in 5 minutes. Bobby Sheehan, no. Second chance. Sabres tried. Martin, oh, saved by Fachon. Third chance. No chance for Pete. On the 4th minute, they scored. Bobby Sheehan, his 2nd from Ferguson and J.C. Tremblay. It's 3-2 Habitants. 1 more minute. One more chance. Sabres have a chance. Perot, no. Montreal scores only once on that 5-minute power play. They should be lucky, and they'll go back to the box. Rick Dudley, the future NHL coach, off for 2. And that score! Leon Rushford from Beliveau. It's 4-2 for the 71 Habs. 2 minutes later. And Montreal goes to the box. It is Mahovlich. Which one? Pete Mahovlich. Sabres have a chance to score on the power play. Spencer, no. Seguin, killed. And Montreal trying to stick it to Buffalo and win the series. It's weird. The 71 Habs had to win Game 4 against, I think, the 06 Red Wings, if memory serves me right, to go home for a game, 5th and deciding game. And they could do it again. Buffalo, they were down 2-1 in the series. Beliveau, Sheehan, and Rushford have scored. 3 minutes later, both teams with a hit. Another 3. Aggression, and the Sabres go back to the box. Korab for 2. That's 2. Don't got the Bill Roberto. The third from Frank Mahovlich and J.C. Tremblay, 5-2. That's going to chase Crozier. And now Bromley will have to come in to try to clean up this mess. 3 minutes later again. 4 minutes later. Habs Tardif, no. They're just running the clock down on the Sabres. Rene Robert got a penalty, but it doesn't matter. It's 1 goal in that 3rd period. Montreal wins 5-2 for the 2nd straight series. The 71 Habs were 1 loss away from elimination, having to win a game to force the winner-take-all match, and they did it again. Vachon, the hero of this game. 5-2, your final score. Buffalo did score with Craig Ramsey and Rick Martin. I thought Buffalo was going to pull the upset, but no. Cournoyer, Beliveau, Sheehan, Rochefort, and Roberto scoring for the 71 Habs, and they stay alive. So that means that the 22 Lightning, who took 2nd place in the Stanley Cup Stanley Cup playoffs in 2022, trying to go for 3 in a row. They faced the 68 Habs, who won the Stanley Cup on their way to the first of 2 in a row, whereas the 71 Habs will now face the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes. 71 Habs going through a Cinderella run, taking care of Boston, Minnesota, and Chicago in the process to win the Cup against the 06 Canes, who went through a surprise run as Southern United States leaders and had to go through a Game 7 against Edmonton. They win. So we have 3 Stanley Cup champions and a Stanley Cup runner-up still left. 1, 3, 11, and 15 on your scoreboards. The 68 Habs, Jean Beliveau, 12 goals. But Tremblay, Lemaire, and Rousseau have 6 goals each. Worsley's 4-2. Vachon's 4-1. That's pretty impressive. He's done pretty well for himself. As you can see, the 68 Habs, they want to do their job. And 71 Habs, Vachon 6-1 for them. Meyer 1-3. Dryden 1-0. So Vachon's been the goalie. And yeah, they had back-to-back game 5s, so they needed those wins. Now they get Carolina. Cornway 15 points and 9 goals, leading the team in both categories. The Canes, Gerbert 7-3. They let Ward in for 1 game and he won. But anyway, Carolina doing their job. Eric Stahl with 17 points and 11 goals, leading the team. And lastly, the 2022 Lightning. Vasilevsky 6-3. Brian Elliott 2-0. The guys only won. So Elliott basically was used in net instead of Vasilevsky, and it worked. Well, they had to go through back-to-back winner-take-alls, but they didn't have to do so against Colorado. So maybe that's a good sign. Stamkos with 19 points and 8 goals. He leads the team. Let's look at the summary. Eric Stahl leads in goals with 11. Adam Graves with 10. Yvonne Cornway with 9. So Graves is out of the competition. Stahl's the active goal leader. Assist-wise, Hedman and Gilmore with 12. Gilmore's out. Hedman's still in with 12. J.C. Tremblay and Steven Stamkos have 11 assists. Points-wise, Steven Stamkos with 19 points. He leads everyone. Stahl second with 17. Hedman with 16. Cornway with 15. So the top 4 guys are still in the playoffs. Assists without goal. Well, Mikko Rantanen has 8 assists without scoring a goal. Frederick Cavalry has 7 goals without an assist. I don't know who has that mark. Anyway, goalies, Worsley the best at 68 Habs, 165 goals against average. Martin Gerber 2.2 second. Rogie Vachon 2.41 for third. Looking pretty good and pretty confident of himself. See the bracket, all that. 1 versus 15, 3 versus 11. Obviously, only 2 of the top 4 seeds move on. 2022 Tampa should not have been in the Elite 8. They should have been struggling. Carolina as well, but you never know. Are we going to see Montreal versus Montreal, or are we going to see the 2 Southern teams go head-to-head? Who knows? Highlights, only 5 hat tricks. All that. Memorable games. The top memorable game, the 2022 Avs went over Tampa in Game 3 when Tampa was actually up 3-0 but lost. It's a number 1 moment. We go comeback. The 94 Leafs against the 84 Oilers, that game second, and the 94 Leafs against the 68 Habs in Game 1 of the Elite 8, in which Toronto had a 3-1 lead and choked it. What is the number 3 fan scoring thing? So anyway, yeah, lots of things happen for a reason. Lots of things happen for a reason. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.